what's his name that, didn't kill himself in prison. I'm like, well, isn't there a difference between knowing someone and getting in a real estate argument over a property and someone who is like Bill Clinton, who's been on, Epstein's Island, blah, 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 and some of the implications with Joe. And, he had the ex uh, secretary that used to work for him that he pushed against the wall and finger, and some other accusations have come out against him. And it's the simple NPC argument of, well, Trump does the same thing, so you can't call Joe Biden a pedophile when Trump sleeps with very young women. Because I always wondered how the left explained that, and it's always that the knee-jerk reaction of, well, Trump sleeps with young 18-year-old girls, so you can't call, he's a pedophile, so you can't call Joe Biden a pedophile either, because they're even. It wasn't denying of the charges, it was just that, well, they're both guilty,
A
therefore
false
it's a non-issue.
equivalency.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's a non-issue, they're both guilty. Politicians. I was like, I'm so confused that that's a thing.
I'm just glad I saw a Trump ad. Like, I'm not a huge Trump supporter guy. I'm kind of, I think both sides are, I take, unfortunately, a centrist position. I hate to say shit like that because it's kind of got this negative connotation on it, but I dislike both of them greatly. I'll leave it at that. But I did see this Trump ad where they put the part of the Breakfast Club where he's like, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black, because the media sure as shit suppressed that.
It was beautiful. Have you seen the Trump vans with the big screens?
Oh,
the
yeah.
mobile. Oh, they're
Yeah,
beautiful.
those are great.
Yeah, Biden for Antifa for Biden. I don't know whose brainchild that was, but that is brilliant.
Really, really simple, really elegant. It's kind of just like build the wall, even though that was, complete bullshit, and make America great again. You've got like an inherently defensive slogan and an inherently offensive slogan, and both of them working together made a really powerful campaign, strategy in 2016.
Yeah, it's simple, and that's all that matters. Right?
So, if it's not too personal, Bibble, at your job, do you have a physical job or do you have an office job?
I have an office job.
Okay. All right. Just that's something I've always been curious about. Do you? Let's see. How well can you use a set of ratchet straps? Sorry, I just gotta know.
I know how to use ratchet straps. Yeah.
Okay, I knew you did. You had, yeah. Okay, thank you. That was just a little.
Yeah. I've had to move house before. I'm familiar with ratchet straps.
Hell yeah. What do you see? Do you see any type of happy ending to anything that's happening now? Do you feel like there is something that could, balance out the springboard? Because we've been going from extreme to the next extreme.
That's the only thing. I don't know if it's going to happen. But I mean, I didn't think, honestly, before Trump came around, I was pretty black pilled, right? I just thought, well, because I had been red pilled by Gamergate, but I knew there was nothing that we could do. And I knew I could see the censorship of the internet coming. I knew it was going to happen, right? As automation gets better, you're able to track things better. You're able to stop things faster. So I knew that was coming, but I didn't see Trump coming, right? And I didn't think he was going to be as based as he was. And I know everybody's like, "Oh fuck, he's not even fucking building fucking chimneys and shit." It's like, all right, man, calm down.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, come on, motherfucker. He at least tries. He at least tries. You know what I mean? He's at least trying to build the wall. He at least says the things that people like to hear, in the sense that he says the real things. And so that, that the Democrats want to come and destroy your suburbs. They want to come in and destroy your way of life.
Nuclear family.
yeah, the nuclear family that they're after, after that kind of thing.
Um,
Um,
I will
so if
say
we could get a demagogue, I think we have a chance.
it's funny that you should say that because it seems counterintuitive, but it makes sense just based on the fact that there's so many people and they're all so divisive, I guess you should say, that it you can't even look at things like that in a rational way on like a macro societal scale kind of thing. I will like if you look at it practically though, I haven't been old enough to experience how years are from president to president, but I'll say that gas is cheap. A lot of the vendors that I do work with
Yeah,
have tons of work. There's a lot
yeah,
of incentives for small businesses. I mean, the only thing negative is the the racial issues and things of that nature, but you know where that's coming from. It's the if it's like I look at it like people on the right, they really don't give a shit what you do as long as it doesn't affect them. But people on the left want you to change so that they can. It's like a woman who doesn't like you cleaning with bleach because of the smell. It's offensive to them regardless of the necessity or the rational reason why you would do something like that.
yeah. It's a really good analogy. But I think people are starting to wake up. The more we have these fucking forest fires, these wildfires, the more riots that we have, that people get stuck. Every person stuck on the interstate is one more person that you are chipping away at their support. Every drag queen story hour, for every fucking liberal wasp that you have out there,
For
uh,
every
you know,
child that's forced to transition regardless of what the dad wants.
yeah, people are starting to wake up. They're really starting to wake up. And so pretty soon we're going to have a right wing that is just as totalitarian as the left wing. They're
That's
not going to put
spooky,
up
dude.
with shit. Yeah. And look, I don't want it either way. I joke about the trans woman shit, but I'm a fucking fascist to left wings and I'm a fucking degenerate to right wings, right?
Yeah.
because of some of my beliefs and some of my, tolerances. So I don't want it too far either way, to be quite honest with you.
I
Um,
completely agree with you. It's like you can separate the emotional from the logic, and you can see where equality comes into play and how people will sell you equality when it's absolutely not.
yeah.
Um shit, I had a question I was going to ask you and now I've forgotten. What would be your ideal candidate for president? And it doesn't have to just be a politician. It could be, whomever.
An ideal candidate for president. Um,
Or if you could just pick, who's going to sit there.
yeah, I mean, if I could pick who is going to be president, I would. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I don't think anybody known right now is an ideal president, right? I don't think anyone has enough of what it takes to do what needs to be done. I think the ideal, just like nobody would have picked Trump as a good president, right?
Yeah.
And arguably, if people could see out of their, from their own asses, they would see that Trump has done a lot of great stuff. He brokered peace in the Middle East. He
North Korea.
brokered peace in North Korea and South Korea. He is ultimately a peacemaker. But because he is so slandered by the media, people can't wake up to it. But he is a fantastic president. So I think our next fantastic president is going to come out of left field, so to speak. People aren't going to know who they are until they arrive. It's the same thing with the demagogue. That I don't think that Nick Fuentes is going to be a real demagogue is really going to rise up and lead people in a way that maybe he hopes to. He's got too many quotes out there, too many hours of footage. It's not going to work, right? They have too
Yeah.
much ammunition against him. I think the person that's going to do this is going to come out of left field. They're going to say exactly what people, and maybe that's not true. Maybe Fuentes is going to be the one, because I would have said the same thing about Trump, right? How much, how much video does he have out there of him doing stupid shit on
Yeah.
the
Reality
Apprentice?
TV and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So it's one of those things where whoever it is, they're going to come out, they're going to say what people want to hear. And if you think the left is bad right now, because right now the left is just using Antifa as a fucking Christ,
Hey, I like that ringtone.
as a communist, strong arm. Hold on a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Do you think that not this land? Obviously, she's been slandered, but do you think that Tulsi would be the good candidate, not from because she won't agree with what people, but her values? Because she was pretty middle of the road, and I think that there's a good chance the right and the left would like her if they saw her for what she is.
I think what Bibble's saying, it should just be, it would be cool if somebody could completely grassroots, just an ordinary dude, just not a career politician, not a reality
Tulsi.
star, yeah, just kind of a normal person, and then they just like he was saying, they say what everybody is thinking, but they have enough tact to not,
Well,
get
not Tulsi.
get like
Yeah, but I'm saying like on the value side, I think Tulsi has a lot of those, but the problem is you would need someone who has the values everyone wants and would say whatever, which Trump got the silent majority, but kind of hard to speak for everyone and do for everyone.
yeah, for sure. It's a
But
complicated
I would
situation.
agree about Fuentes. Like I think he's too young, which is the thing with Buttigieg and I think I said that right, and then Tulsi, and then Fuentes. A lot of these people are too young. They gotta wait a couple of years. But that also goes back to I really don't think that they foresaw having to actually run Biden. I thought it was a throwaway candidate, and until Corona hit, they were just going to sacrifice him to Trump, let Trump eat him up and spit him out, and then come February, they realized, hey, we got a chance to make a run against Trump because look at the Corona. If we can blame Corona on Trump and say, hey, he didn't shut it down early enough, which was insane to say, but nonetheless, if you can convince people that what's going on that's wrong is his fault, you can get the swing votes. And I think at that moment they realized, oh God, we're stuck with Biden, and we really thought this was a way candidate. And now we got to turn, a pig into a princess, and we have this old man, and I don't know what to do with him besides pump him full of alpha brain and pray to God he can say a couple sentences on camera before he just shits on himself and passes out.
I think Biden's fucking up because he's also I'm sure there's a lot of single issue voters on stuff like guns. And isn't he quoted as saying like we're coming for your AR-15s?
No, that was Beto O'Rourke, and that I don't think that was actually. I think that was actually his quote, but that was Beto. Beto said we're coming for your ARs.
Yeah,
That was Beto O'Rourke.
But yeah, yeah, it was Beto.
But yeah, there are. But like, okay, but like, look at his BB. Like, she has some values that some swing voters could swing to. The argument is, if she's against Antifa, she may be tough on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that's your main issue, is screw politics. I don't want my city burning down because I own a small business tire shop. I don't care who wins as long as they stop the city from being on fire. It's on fire and Trump's in charge, so let's try something else. I can't fault that line of thinking. I disagree with it entirely, but you know what I mean? Like, I understand that concept, though. She will get those swing votes.
That's true. I mean, she's a police officer, so she's probably got that kind of air of stability kind of thing.
She'll get the 5% that no one really cares for because, less than 30% of them vote. But, God forbid we don't cater to the 5% because the married white suburban mom wants to vote the same way as the 5% because she has to protect them. So of course they chose all the reasons they did.
Do you think that it doesn't even matter that just if you look at it from like time immemorial that it's any society once it gets to a level of technology it just implodes on itself, especially when you add in multiculturalism?
I think that multiculturalism is a weakness. I don't think that's too radical in saying, and I don't particularly care about having that attached to my name forever.
Yeah.
I truly believe it is a fucking weakness.
Well, I take a weird stance on this. Like, I don't care about immigrants if they want to come over here. I feel like people that escape a shithole, and I'm now legal immigrants. Keep that in mind.
I'm back.
Yeah. So I don't care too much about legal immigrants because they if they come from a shithole, they're going to be real motivated to not go back. But if you look at neighborhoods, we already segregate ourselves. So it doesn't seem like too much of a leap to think that might, there's going to be a schism or something like that. And things would be better that way. I'm sure, there's people in favor of that. Hey, Bibble, do you think an 11-year-old girl has the agency to decide if acting in a certain role is worth the money or acting experience that they have, that they stand against?
Man, I don't think the 11-year-old has fucking agency to decide if they get their ears pierced. The fuck you talking about? No.
Exactly.
Fuck no.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't even want to say the name of what I'm talking about, but yeah, it's really, really a fucked situation. Do you think winning an award at Sundance stands as a professional endorsement on something?
No. I think we've all seen the articles of Sundance being filled to the brim with pedophiles. So I think it's like that everywhere, especially places that are considered art or artistic. I think for some reason, it draws those people in. I mean, just look at it at Hollywood. You can see it in Sundance. You can see it in any kind of art community, really. You have a lot of those types. I mean, it's so amazing how the media has convinced us to completely disregard all the knowledge that was gained throughout the centuries, right? I mean,
just ignore it, Bibble. Just ignore it.
Yeah, the whole idea, he's one of those artsy types, and that became a meme like in the 60s. Oh, you're making fun of artsy types, and oh, yeah, sure, grandpa. Well, we know now that artsy types clearly promote or draw out pedophiles and shitty people and disgusting people. I mean, it's now known in Hollywood. Like anybody that goes to Hollywood is considered a piece of shit. That's why we praise people like Keanu Reeves, who are just normal people. He's not even that nice of a person. He's just cordial to people, and it's like, oh, he's the fucking nicest guy in the world. Why? Because he's not drinking baby's blood just and raping women.
This stark contrast to what the norm is over there.
Yeah. So I mean, all this kind of folksy kind of wisdom that you got from your grandparents that they've made you mock and disregard, we're starting to learn that, there's a reason why grandpa said pedophiles touch kids. It's because they do. It's because they absolutely have a higher propensity to rape children and that's why people don't want to leave their kids around homosexuals.
That sounds like a pretty racist, bigoted statistic to me.
It is. Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there.
It's very racist and bigoted, but it's also very true. It's the sad fact of it. There's a lot of racist, bigoted statistics that are 100% true.
I mean, I think another thing is that like everybody is racist subconsciously. Like if you see a crime committed by somebody that is of the same race as you, you're just going to be able to identify them way easier than if they're a different race. And that's where that whole, oh, you know, they all look the same kind of thing comes from. It's just because that's how the brain works. And then you look at neighborhoods in America, and typically neighborhoods are segregated unless you're in a big liberal city. And then you see how that works out.
Even in big liberal cities, they're segregated. They're just segregated by, oh, this area has low crime. I wanted to move to an area that has low crime, or good schools. I love good schools.
Good schools. We were talking
you ask
about.
Somebody, what does good schools mean? Well, it means it's better tests or better teachers and stuff. Oh, really? So what's the racial demographics of those good schools? Oh, you fucking racist! Like, how's that racist? How's that racist? Just asking you why you want to move to a majority white area.
Yeah, we were talking about the quality of sidewalks and landscaping earlier. If you've got sidewalks, then that's a good sign. If you've got shitty sidewalks, you're getting a little bit less good. And if you've got no sidewalks with overgrown landscaping, that's how you can tell what kind of neighborhood you're in.
Yeah, I guess it depends on where you are. Some of those more rural areas aren't going to have any sidewalks, but they're still pretty nice.
Yeah, with the exception that, you know, like a normal suburban neighborhood usually doesn't have sidewalks.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, but everybody's lawn will be nice.
I'll say this. If you see a cage over the power meter, that is a dead giveaway.
Yes.
Dead giveaway.
I am very familiar with utilities, and I can tell you right now, it is and they don't put those on any neighborhoods. It's for a reason.
Yeah, they definitely they definitely have certain tells that you can look at a neighborhood and see exactly
Bars on the windows at a gas station. Like, that's one of those where you're like, I don't think one magazine's enough. I might need 2 magazines to walk into this gas station.
Right?
Oh man,
right?
Yeah. If you have to slide that extra magazine out and put it in some spare pocket, that's how you know. So let's see.
What you got for me?
Damn, dude, I should have prepared more. I fucked this whole thing up.
Yeah, you really should have. Fucking ruined it, man.
Well, because I want to ask questions about you, because I think you're a cool fucking character, but I don't want to get, you know, too personal and depth with it. Like, could you tell me what you like to do in your spare time? You have any like hobbies? You like crafting, knitting?
I like to do jujitsu. Obviously, I talked about that. I like to do grappling and stuff. It just depends on what week it is to what hobby I have there. You know, I like to mess around with technology. I was messing around with the Raspberry Pi there for a while. You know, making a hotspot that people could use, or making like a portable server where people could, like, you know, portable server where people could connect wirelessly and download whatever media or books or whatever they wanted. So that was really fun. You know, I like doing stuff for D&D.
Oh, that's right. I actually play D&D, not well, but I do play it with a.
Nobody plays it well. But yeah, I liked making terrain. There's a what is it? Black Magic Craft is a D&D YouTube about making terrain for D&Ds. So you make dungeon tiles and stuff. So that's always fun.
Do they make Baphomet statues as well, or is that that's something separate.
No, it's not that. Not that
Oh,
far as Black Magic Craft. Yeah.
Shit, I had a good question and now I forgot it. Fuck me, dude.
I like to train my dogs. It's always fun, give them new tricks and stuff to do, and I spend a good amount of time doing that because, like I said, intermittent, uh, you know, training is always best because it's the longest to extend.
Oh, I remember now. When you're
Extend
doing
extinction.
research for your B file videos, how do you
Mhm.
go about doing that? Because I imagine most of that shit wouldn't just be on Google or, some
No, I
run-of-the-mill.
read a lot. Yeah, so I'll get a
Oh,
lot of books and just try and read as many as I can to get through that. And some of it is Google, some of it is like searching through stuff, but a lot of it is I'll read and just pull stuff whole cloth out of these books.
how do you reconcile with just? How do you not lose? Well, let me ask you this: have you lost faith in humanity?
No,
How do you maintain that? Does your religion play a part in that?
yeah, I'd say it's definitely religion, but also just that. You know what plays a large part in it? I read a story about a town in Wisconsin, some little small town that elected a dog as its mayor,
Oh, I have heard of that.
and yeah, and like people make fun of it, like fucking white people. But to me, that is just so hope inspiring because it's like these motherfuckers have such little conflict
Worry, yeah.
that they can meme elect. Yeah, right.
Fucking, they wheel it
So
around and shit.
yeah. Like Sweden was such a utopia that they thought, well, we should bring other people into this utopia and show them how it's done. Of course, it's a massive failure because reality smashed right against that. But the idea that we have gotten very, very close to these utopia ideals, I think the only thing that we have missed in that is the ancient Roman idea of the gymnasium, right? That you have to let that animal side out. You have to go out, and all of your population has to do this. They have to play sports of some sort, or they have to,
That's a
do
really good
wrestle
point.
or grapple. They have to get out that 2 minute hate. Otherwise, you just get these sheep like we have now that the media tells them you can yell at Trump, and they yell at Trump and they get that hate out.
Yeah, because if
And
you don't do it through physical activity, it's gonna manifest itself in some other way. And it's that. Who was the guest on Monday? Do you remember his name on the
no,
kill stream? I can't remember his name, and it pisses me off
It
because
was the Canadian.
he was a great guest, but he had that guy slap his phone out of his hand, and he just like short circuited. Probably because he's been wage cucking it for so long, and I think when you work a job that you don't derive any sort of self satisfaction from, like service industry, I think that plays a part in it too. You go and you do the same thing every day, but you never really see any progress being made or anything like that. So it kind of can make you feel aimless and like what you're doing is pointless. So if you feel like you've got a chance to be righteously indignant, you're going to take it, and then when you make that conscious decision, your unconscious limbic system will take over and just you'll see red, so to speak.
Have you ever worked in a cubicle, like a honest to god cubicle job where there's like Taco Tuesdays and like all the politics that goes along?
Yeah, like inter office kind of drama and shit.
yeah. I mean, I've never like been in an actual cubicle. By the time I got to the office jobs, they didn't. The cubicles were too expensive and too private. Uh, they don't let you have cubicles at that point. Probably not anymore either.
Well, like an office kind of job.
But yeah,
Like
I have done that before.
it's extremely high school level gossip, the backstabbing, the just backhanded comments are just commonplace. And I really think you just cram people together with just, I mean, like, it's like the joke of, like, that's my red stapler. Like, that's how those people are made. And, like, when these people just work late, go home, get their kids from after school, hit McDonald's, drive through, and then they go home, they do homework, shower, and bed. You do that in and out all day long. That creates a personality. That personality doesn't have a outlet. And if you don't have an outlet, you get some weird fucking things happening. And like that's how you have like these backstabbing fat Karens or like Susans or pick a name. Just mad as shit, but like, hey, she made her Halloween Rice Krispies and you didn't say thank you. And that's a real issue. And that's how you get drugged to HR 2 weeks later when you made a passing comment about someone else. And you didn't know that they had a Survivor TV show, gang up on you behind your back that you never knew about. But like you don't have that at a blue collar job where you get physical work out every day, or you know what I mean, like a plant job or a mechanic, or
where
like,
you're suffering along with other people.
I've always been way happier with coworkers in a physical environment. Someone is at least moving around to any level of it. It really just takes the edge off your coworker and as a person, however you want to look at it. But that's always been happier for me.
Yeah, I mean that those are very good jobs. I was just afraid that they would be taken by outside workforces. By the time I had to decide for that, little did I know that tech jobs would be the ones that were actually quickly being erased by outside cheap labor.
Yeah, isn't that funny how that worked out for you, dude? Holy shit.
Right.
Oh man,
right.
That's kind of fucked.
But
yeah, I will say, like, in an office setting, it's crazy how much somebody's aesthetic appeal can factor into that. Because not to toot my own horn, but my boss tells me all the time, the reason I hired you is because you look so honest and you're like an attractive guy that people automatically trust, which is fucked. They shouldn't, because not that I would fuck someone over, but I definitely have the propensity to do that. But like what you were saying earlier, I worked in this facility, and I was part of a portion of that facility that was more blue collar, but it had HR, it had administration, it had an upper echelon of people. And we had this lady that worked for us. She had not that many teeth. She was overweight. She was very crude and crass. She would talk about getting fucked by her husband and stuff. Anyways, she had a really bad problem with like gossiping, but this lady would work her ass off, and she's an old lady that lives in a trailer with like a hole in the floor. And I mean, and she had like a lesbian haircut, and it was she was not nice to look at. But they fired her for essentially what it came down to, gossiping, when every motherfucker in that place, that is like 20% of the day. Like when people would come to work there, I would tell them straight up, the work is not the issue here. The issue are the fucking employees, because they will drag you down and they will backstab you, just like you were saying, for some of the most innocuous, stupid shit.
Yeah, and I think the employees, a lot of it is that they just don't have anything outside of work, right? Anything outside of their job to go and do. Or enough of it. Like I always thought it was that their lives were so boring.
And they probably don't get a lot of sunlight either. They come in early and then it's fluorescent lights, and they leave and it's dark.
Yeah, not enough vitamin D. Yeah, something, because it's just like they are absolutely. That's probably it. Yeah, they probably don't get a lot of sunlight.
Well, my boss is a crazy motherfucker. I've never met anybody like him before. The guy probably does millions of dollars per year in, not necessarily profit, but just like, moving money, moving amounts of money. He's got like a lot of assets, but not a lot of liquid wealth. But because he does it just for fun. Like if he wanted to just make money, he's had a company before that has made him way more money. But he does this as a hobby. He likes to build stuff and that sort of thing. But he was saying to me, shit, I forgot what I was going to say now. What were you just talking about, Bibble?
People who don't have too much outside their work.
Oh yeah, he's always like, he'll get down and dig a hole, or he'll move cement blocks or whatever, and he's always like, the reason I do this is because I know what's coming, and he always says this weird shit like that, and it's a really odd, because you're like, why in God's name would you want to come out here and destroy your back moving cement blocks when you've got, you know, tons of people that could do it for you, and his mentality, I think, is just strengthened by, you know, it's counterintuitive, and this kind of plays into to probably your religious beliefs. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the suffering is good. You kind of, your inner self, your flesh, is what you're fighting against more so than, like, you know, a scary devil. Like you're gonna fuck yourself up more than another entity. If you, if you give into your ego.
So, you know, there was a time when I was really young that I was really, and then I kind of moved away from it as I got older. And then I started to get back into it in the sense that, you know, I understood that certain activities are good for people, right? Like people discovered therapy by themselves by praying to God. Like that was my idea. Like, okay, so people pray and it's their way of processing things and understanding things and coming to terms with it, and they kind of rationalize it and think over it. And so that's what prayer is. And you know, these rituals that we have, you know, when you look at like Joseph Campbell and you know, the idea of the monomyth and the you know, Jungian ideals and all this other kind of shit, where you have like every culture has these same myths, right? Every a hero with 1,000 faces, and every culture does these same things, and we develop these same ways, but because our brains are hardwired the same way, just like we all have, you know, 2 arms and 2 legs and shit like that.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, okay, these rituals, that we all have these rituals as well. And so this must be something that is needed for humans. So, you know, let's go ahead and do these rituals because it's good for you and it makes a better person and a better life. And then as I started to get more into it, you kind of start going, well, maybe there is something else. You know, how can you know that there's nothing out there? Like when people do DMT, they always talk about seeing these creatures. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
very.
Like,
I've had some psychedelic experiences where I've seen the same thing that someone else has seen in the room, which doesn't make sense, you know? Like it
yeah,
shouldn't work that way.
yeah, and a lot of people have experienced things like that where everybody has experienced like the feeling of being watched, or feeling like there's something there. And then there's people that have experienced it in mass. And yes, it could just be mass hysteria. Yes, it could just be our brains all working the same way. An electromagnetic field comes and what, you know, goes over all of us and it affects our brain in the same way. Or it could be that there's something there. You know, I mean, you don't want to discount it just because you can't see it, right?
Exactly.
Because if you told people 300, 400 years ago that there were very tiny creatures all over us and living in us and all around us, they would say, well, you're fucking crazy, you're an insane person, right?
It's the winds, bro. There's no fucking, it's
Yeah,
miasmas, bro. You got to point your house to
exactly,
the
it's the four
fucking north.
humors. Right?
Gotta
You
bleed
got
you a
too much
little bit more,
bile.
son. Yeah, too
Yeah,
much bile.
exactly.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
You like
so
my
that
spooky mask?
yeah, so that's what people would think back then. But we now know that there are tiny creatures that live inside of us, and our body is made up in tiny creatures. And there's even theories right now that we as humans are not really, we don't have any consciousness, that we are really affected by the will of bacteria, right? So all these bacteria they get us to do certain things and act certain ways to either propagate or destroy other bacteria, things like that, right?
That's
So
crazy
there's
because they have
there's
fungi and parasites that do that.
yeah, and so the idea is that we know we have all these bacteria in us, so maybe bacteria, a certain type of bacteria makes some people like compulsively drink or compulsively eat and things like that. And if there was a different type or different strain of bacteria or culture or something like that, then maybe you wouldn't be that way. And so, there's all kinds of crazy theories about that kind of stuff. But I say that to say this, we used to not believe in germs, and now we do. And then, maybe at some point we'll realize that yes, there are fourth dimensional creatures. I mean, the idea that we are the only things in the entire universe, I think, is a bit too much of a stretch. So I absolutely think that there are creatures out there, and if you look at the ocean, you would say, well, there's nothing out there. I can see the ocean. It's complete. Like if you're out on the ocean, it's
Yeah,
completely
for
flat.
miles
There's
around.
nothing there. There's miles around. There's clearly no life here. Yet, I mean, we know that's not true. You just have to go a couple inches under it, and maybe you'll see something. But definitely, it's teeming with life, large, small, and microscopic. So my idea is that space is much like that, or maybe even possible realities or universes or dimensions past the third is teeming with life, but we just cannot see it.
For sure. I mean, like the mantis shrimp. Do you know that
Yes.
that little creature? It can see
Yeah.
colors that we can't even imagine. Many colors, like tons of colors that we can't even.
Oh, a lot
We,
of things can, like birds can.
yeah, and bats have the echolocation. They can sense disturbances. And it's something that really trips me out is like it's like manipulation of your reality. Like what can you what how much power do you have over your own reality that you can, it's like there's a great equalizer in everything. Like if you do something bad, you're going to feel guilty about it. So what does it mean if you can move past that guilt? Is that what makes like a psychopath who seems to be more in line with base instincts, but ultimately will never feel like self satisfaction? They're always going to try and, do whatever it is that it's motivating them to do, and whether that be a killer, a CIA agent, or a CEO, like how much control do you have over your reality that you can mold it to be the best that it can be for you, even when that means stuff that doesn't inherently make you happy, like exercise or eating right, or just various stuff like that, like studying things that are not very fun, but are ultimately more fulfilling than just doing egotistical, selfish shit.
Oh yeah, it's all about rituals, man. It's all about. I mean that whole thing with Jordan Peterson and make your bed. Like that is a good thing. It instills that ritual in people to do that thing. The whole do your push-ups. It's the same as the Jordan Peterson bit. It's just that's going to improve your life far more than making your bed, in my opinion.
Well,
If you didn't make your bed ever and you did 10 push-ups a day, and added 10 more every 3 days or every week or every day, then that's, I think, is going to help out a lot more.
for sure, for sure. Have you looked much into the calendar that we use, the 12-month calendar?
No, not really.
Ooh, I thought I would know. I thought I'm happy. So the
Hang on,
12-month
real quick.
calendar.
Hang on.
Yeah.
I gotta let you guys go.
All right, man. Thanks
where
for
I'm
coming.
headed to on the other side of the mountain, I have no. So
Thanks for
Bibble,
coming in,
it
man. I
was
appreciate
great.
it.
It was
Take it
great
easy,
talking
bud.
to you. I'm a huge fan. Have a great night.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. I'll see you later, Flo.
Take it easy, boss.
It's good meeting you.
Yeah.
That is J0e Schmoe on Twitter. You might have seen him in some of the.
Oh, okay. Then I didn't just meet him. Yeah.
Yeah. So the 12-month. I'm gonna pull up a webpage real quick just to make sure. But the 12-month calendar was designed by the Catholic Church to, and this is another one of my boss's crazy theories, that they wanted to get us away from the natural cycle of the moon. So like the lunar calendar it was a lot easier to keep track of time and things of that nature by using the stars and the moon. So it was Pope Gregory propagated the Gregorian calendar, and it spaces the leap years out and everything. But I think really it was designed, one, to equally space out, holidays that Catholic people realize, for them to, probably to make money in some way, but also to get us away from a more natural cycle of life of, getting up with the sun and going to sleep with the sun setting and that sort of thing, where humans are probably designed to experience life like that. That goes into like the sunlight thing you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What do you think about Catholics?
I mean, they definitely. I think Catholics are fine people. I mean, the church, like anything else, it's had its ups and its downs, and when it had power, it got addicted to it, and absolutely, they did some very bad things. But I think the Catholic Church is fine. Obviously, I'm not Catholic myself. I'm Protestant, so I can't say I believe in all of that. But I think one of the the best things that we did was we came together as Christians, as a Christian nation. I mean, granted, it was founded really by WASPs, like Anglo-Saxon Protestant, not by Catholics, but we still accepted the Catholics, and we still, welcomed them as good Christians. And I think the infighting that was stoked by outside forces really did a number on the Christian nation, and allowed these outside forces to steal away Christian children.
What can you give a specific outside force? Maybe not, like the motivating
Space
force.
vampires.
Space vampires. What did the space vampires do? Just anything that would cause division.
Yeah, they propagated turning away from Christianity in the media. They made it very unpopular. They made it
unintellectual.
Unintellectual. Yeah, I mean, of course, they completely took it out of the schools through the Long March. But even more than that, the counterculture movement that was, I mean, it was, I don't see how you could say it was counterculture when it was really backed by the media. Although they would say, oh, look at these crazy hippies. They absolutely promoted it, in the sense that they couldn't outright come out and promote it at that time, like they are now, right? I mean, this is what they've always wanted to do, was mutilate children and molest them, and they couldn't do that. So they came out and said, "Oh, look at them. They're perverting your children, but they show all these kids, these attractive kids, kids in the sense of, like 18, 19-year-olds, who don't want to go to war and are dancing around and talking about peace and, the flower power, flower children that are very attractive. They show all that kind of stuff in this glowing light, right?
Right.
But while at the same time the voiceover goes, "Oh, these dirty fucking hippies," so they knew what they were doing.
Oh, that's clever. That's dastardly clever, actually. Well,
they all knew what they were.
What really got the old noggin jogging when you were talking about Timothy Leary in the MK Ultra episode of B Files, because like I know people that like their profile picture will be Timothy Leary, or they'll they very much view him as kind of like a saint of the counterculture. But what would you say to that? Kind of was he Was he spooky?
So, yeah, he was. I don't know yet if he was spooky. Right, I'm still doing research on this. I don't know yet if he was spooky,
Thank you for not speculating. I appreciate that.
but he was definitely used by the establishment to push what they wanted him to push. Right. We know now nobody gets a microphone unless they want you to. Back then, they were able to coach it much better and saying, "Oh, well, we're just reporting the news, and you decide," and that kind of shit. But even back then, it was all a work, right? Nobody got the microphone unless they wanted you
Right, sure.
to. So I'll say this: if you look into a lot of the bands, a lot of the counterculture, because back then, TV was not in the power that it was today, right? It was more radio,
Yeah,
and
they
so
had
that's how
radio
they would push these
and
things. Yeah,
newspapers.
everybody had a radio and newspapers, of course, but radio was really reaching out and touching the youth. And so, if you look at these bands, you really can play 6 degrees from the CIA or 6 degrees from the government. Uh, are you familiar with Jim Morrison? You know who that is? The Doors.
Yeah, the Doors. It did he
His
overdosed, right?
father, yeah, he overdosed.
Sounds
Well,
about right.
his father was George Stephen Morrison, United States Navy rear admiral and naval aviator. So,
Wow.
yeah, um, he
Because
was
it's not Jim. That is fucking creepy because it's not Jim Morrison. It's like it's that three entities separated. It's like anytime somebody gets popular, if it's not like you're saying not already designed to to if it's not already designed to push some sort of agenda, they will either blackmail you in some manner
mhm.
uh, to switch it that way. Like I was talking with Aluminum earlier, the skinhead movement was like a movement of people that listened to ska music in the 60s, I think.
Yeah.
And there was one picture of a kid, a skinhead kid, doing the Roman salute. And after that, the media started saying, "Oh, skinhead gangs do this, rob this lady, beat up this thing, or they're rioting here and they're doing that." And then the neo Nazis of the time moved in, and they co-opted.
Because they thought they had good company. Yeah.
Yeah, they changed really the whole public view of it, and that's exactly what Antifa is doing to Black Lives Matter right now. They, as soon as
Good.
it got to a point where it had any kind of influence, these bad actors come in and they distort it and inject whatever agenda they want into, and it's you can see how easy it is. It was very easy for them to do that, and with the right type of social media, it's just insane what people can do.
Well, this is why it's taking so long for my next MK Ultra, because I'm trying to connect all of the dots back to the CIA, and a lot of it is difficult. And I don't want to speculate, but when you have, like, we've pretty much connected Charles Manson to MK Ultra. The amount of times that he was given a get out of jail free card, the amount of times that they were thrown off his scent or told to stop looking into him is just insane. So that's almost certainly MK Ultra. Jim Morrison is almost certainly um, affected. I believe he was MK Ultra, although that's a bit harder to prove. But I believe that he was MK Ultra.
Well, and,
Um,
and there's varying degrees. Not every person. Maybe he was only dosed and suggested things. A handful of times, but at that point they had probably already figured out the exact best way to do that. And with, like you were saying, with the smiley face killers, the fact that there may be some sort of shape or symbol that they can show somebody and have it change their whole sense of consciousness. It's really weird.
Yeah, and it's just one of these things where, like I said, it's always 6 degrees from the government or 6 degrees from the CIA, right? You can always connect it directly back to these organizations, but you can't exactly say, yes, they did it. But you can say, well, there were spooky people around, or this person was affected by spooky people at one point, and he went and contacted all these other people. So stuff like that is very interesting. And eventually, I'm going to wrap it up here in probably the next couple of weeks and put it out, because I'm sure I could go off like like the guy whose book I was reading about, Charles Manson, um, who did a lot of the groundwork for the MK Ultra Charles Manson stuff. He did that book for like fucking 20 years. I mean, I'm sure I could do something similar, but
Oh
I'm just
man,
yeah, I have to at some point say, okay, well, we're putting it out whether it's done or not.
what a
And,
fucking commitment! I can't imagine going to libraries and just, I'm sure you didn't work on it like every day, but having this just overarching project that you're just so committed to for 2 whole decades. That's insane.
yeah, yeah, it's absolutely well, and I think it's just because he kept going further and further down the rabbit hole. He didn't start out with Charles Manson and MK Ultra. He started out with Charles Manson. Maybe there was some factual inaccuracies in the trial, and then it just kept getting deeper and deeper, and every string he pulled just led to more and more things. So it's it's one of those things where it gets real interesting. You can see um, how these conspiracy theory guys can go off the deep end, and it's easy to make these leaps of logic, but you don't want to do that, because every time you do, yes, it may be true, but it weakens your case, because every time you
Mm.
connect it with something that's not stable, it's another thing for someone to come in and break down and make you look foolish. So you have to just connect it with either things that, even though you can't directly connect it, you can connect it with so many other ancillary bits that it's stable enough. Or you just say, hey, this is maybe this, but I can't prove that, and it would just make sense if it was.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean, dude. Like, I don't know how you do that. How you can uh I mean, I probably could do it too. And I do a fair bit of research on stuff, but like the width of the topics that you've looked into and stuff, it's almost like, ignorance is bliss, and you're allowing your as much ignorance as you allow to float away. It just, I don't know how you aren't insanely depressed, man, or just trepidatious about everything. Do you feel
I
like,
mean, gotta go. You gotta keep going, I guess.
yeah, I mean, you're not gonna just kill yourself or anything, but I'm just saying, like, it would be very easy to just burn out on that sort of thing. Um, do you feel like you are are ready for like a rapture or an end times thing, in terms of both physically, like with stuff that you have, but also like spiritually?
Physically, I don't know, man. Who fucking knows? Everybody thinks that they're ready for that. Everybody's calling for the Civil War and all that shit. Me,
Fucking
personally,
ignorant assholes, bro. Like,
yeah, I like bread and circus. I know it would be very unpleasant. Everybody thinks it's going to be nice and romantic and everything, but they don't realize the actual. Whenever you see this kind of stuff of somebody like in their fucking, uh, with the
bunker.
freedom fighters underground, in these big underground caverns, and they're reading books by candlelight. Yeah, it makes for a nice shot or whatever, but it's incredibly boring, and it sucks. It sucks balls.
Yeah, I think
Um,
just air conditioning, just not having air
yeah,
conditioning would
air
fucking kill me.
conditioning. Yeah, there's not going to be any air conditioning. There's not going to be like water on demand all the time like we have now. Like you're going to be like, all right, well, we went out and got water today. We've got to ration it. Like it's going to fucking suck. And you're not going to be able to wash your ass every day. Like it's not going to be a fun time. So as far as like that kind of rapture, no, I don't think I'm ready for that, but hopefully I would be able to adapt. Spiritually, yeah, I think I am.
Cool, that's cool. Yeah, they need to spend a week in the woods. See
Yeah.
how that does you. See how that grabs you. What happened to SPCC? Where's he at?
What?
What happened to SPCC? Where's he at?
SPCC.
Southern Poverty Call Center.
Oh, I don't fucking know.
It's just, I just said, how's that grab you? That's something he used to say. Or maybe that was Longmont Potion Castle. I can't remember. Some prank caller.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't ever watch him too much. I mean, I've seen some of his stuff, but I didn't.
I have a.
I kind of drifted away. I was busy with work at that point.
I got you. Yeah, I have a weird fascination with prank calls. I just like you were saying with the dog mare. It's impossible to find levity in anything these days unless you go, all the way to the. Unfortunately, like, you have to go all the way to an extreme in one direction to just, and you have to like eat the meat and spit out the bones, so to speak, of something. Like, do you watch the Dick Show?
Yeah, I watched some of it.
They're in the episode this week. They had this guy who his intestines are slipping into his ball sack because of a hernia. So, yeah. And this poor dude, at first it started like it would be like the size of a pea, and it wasn't really painful, and he could still work his job. But he started a GoFundMe because he doesn't have health insurance, and at this point, it's like the size of a fucking golf ball, and sometimes he has to push it back into his body multiple times per hour. But anyways, he was talking to Dick, and he's like, if I ever see you in Texas, I'm gonna send your bitch ass to the doom dimension. And I just thought that was so fucking funny. And it's like, but I didn't really find anything else funny about that episode, but that little portion was just worth it to me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's some Bakugan bullshit, like the doom dimension. But
Yeah.
it was great how he said it.
Yeah, sometimes that kind of shit just tickles you.
Just gets you in the right way. Well, Bibble, man, I really fucking appreciate you stopping by, and especially for staying so long. That bitrate advice has immeasurably helped my stream, I'm sure. So I appreciate you for that.
Oh yeah, I didn't know about it until someone told me. But you don't need to whisper. Turn the audio a bit louder. Bibble's always quiet. He's sleepy.
Oh,
Sorry, I just glanced at chat. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention, chat.
No, yeah. I'm sorry. I also wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, it's a lot to run everything. It takes some getting used to, but you'll get used to it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I have. Oh, now I'm like, should I yell? I have somebody that will watch it at the beginning to make sure the audio is okay. But then after that, I tell them to get the fuck off the Wi-Fi.
Exactly. Fuck off my Wi-Fi, bitch. All right. Well, it was good talking to you, bud. I'll have to drop by and do it again sometime.
I would really, I'd love it if you did, and I would promise I will get more in-depth Bibble-specific questions.
Oh Jesus, don't do that.
Oh, not personal, but like something that's more relevant. That's not just like
every bit of information I give out, those fuckers are watching. They're watching everything, trying to figure out where I am and who I am. I always have to give out fucking false clues like all the time.
Yeah, dude,
That's one of the best things to do if you ever don't want to get doxxed. Just accidentally drop some information, accidentally get a time zone wrong. Like if you do that, people will legit think it's real. I guess it's because they can't see your face. If you can just say, "Oh yeah, well, now it's 7:25 or whatever the fuck it is, and they're like, oh, he's in fucking Mountain Time Zone or whatever.
Yeah, dude. It's
like
it's
they
it's
legit,
tough, bro, because I really want to talk about local shit sometimes, but I'm like, not worth it, man. Not worth it. And I really look up to you for that. Like I had this idea of maintaining anonymity, but I really had no clue how intricate and how careful you have to be if you want to. This is really the
never
only
mention
way that you can
what
express
the weather's
yourself.
like. Never mention what the weather's like. That's a big one. Don't say when it's snowing. Don't say when it's raining. Don't say the temperature. Um, don't do any of that.
Tim
Right?
4. Tim 4 on that one.
'Cause that's an easy one to track. Really easy one.
Do you have some
Don't.
like dedicated assholes that want to, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh, well, I mean, all the people that hate Ralph came after me. And then fucking one of them ran away like a little bitch and privated all his stuff. Good old Zoom, Corey Barnhill, the
Right.
pedophile.
Yeah.
He privated everything because he got doxxed. His own information got doxxed on Kiwi Farms.
Yeah, because he
And
fucked
then-
with. Isn't he the one that did like the bomb threats when Josh was still in the U.S.?
Yeah, he did the bomb threats, and he was doing some streams like doxing Flam's mods and going after Ralph's mods, and he said he was gonna go after me and shit like that. And then somebody came out and doxed him, and he just fucking went to ground.
The old reverse trap card or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Well, it's not hard to find. I mean, his whole name's out there, and records are public in New Jersey where he lives. So it's not really hard to find him and find his mother and everything else. So, I mean, he's just playing with fire, right? I mean, if you get somebody fired from their job, if you ruin their life, there's always two types of people, right? There's people like Josh who will run away and hide and try and eke out an existence. And then there's crazy people who will fucking drive to your mom's house and take her out for a nice dinner. And
Dude,
you
I
never
don't
know which
even
one you're
I don't
dealing
even
with.
have like certain stickers. Like I don't put stickers on my car because it's fucking stupid. But like every time I see someone with like my child is a star student at X elementary
Never.
school, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, how do you? The longer you have that shit on your car, the higher chance that not even that you'll piss somebody off, but somebody has a psychotic break, sees that sticker, and they're like, okay, I know what I'm doing today.
Don't have stickers on your car. Um, do not.
I
There's a
especially
lot of
like
things
to
you
have a lot
can
of
do to find.
firearm stickers on my car. I feel like that makes me real cool, you know? Lets people
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what I got going on.
Exactly. Lets them know which house or car to break into. Um, don't do stickers on that. Don't have a Facebook. If you ever have anything, have a separate, like, say if you want to use TikTok or something, right? Which I never would, I never do. But if you wanted something like that, one of those meme applications like Instagram, have a separate phone to do that with. Just buy yourself a cheap Walmart phone, and then always keep it on VPN to do that kind of stuff with. Um,
Oh my
and make sure
gosh.
location services are turned on. Always, what's a really good one? Always have tinfoil in your vehicle or nearby. That way, because tinfoil works great for hiding your phone signal. Um, it will block it out completely if you wrap your phone in tinfoil.
Kind of like a Faraday cage.
Yes, it's exactly what it is. It works better than anything else that I found. It's just tinfoil that you wrap around your phone several times. Um, you will get no signal. No one will be able to call you. GPS won't work. None of that kind of shit.
So, are
Yeah,
you saying I should use a VPN and a proxy to set up a Puppet email account and use that to buy a laptop with cash off Craigslist, install a virtual machine on it, and only use Tor at the third farthest out McDonald's from you? Is that what you're getting at?
that's exactly what I was
To
getting
post
at. Yeah.
your TikTok videos?
Yes, to post your TikTok videos. Oh, that's another one. Always use like a phone, like a prepaid phone. Don't use like a plan, because they'll sell that information a lot, like your name and stuff.
Well, even the prepaid ones, a lot of times your identity is tied to that, right?
Well, yes and no. So I mean, obviously you have to pay for it some way, but at the same time, they don't have your name. Um,
They're
and
not
your
part of
information.
that like metadata collection scheme that's been going on for 20 years.
Well, you just don't have to give them your real name and information. I mean,
God,
you give
Bibble.
them your.
Bro, I thought I was like had a healthy level of paranoia and I was doing everything that I could do. You're just crashing my whole world right now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you gotta be careful, man.
It's good
You gotta
fucking
have
advice,
lawyers.
man. 21st century living up in here.
Yeah, virtual machine is legit good though. Always run a virtual machine.
Is Tor compromised?
Yes,
Seems like
in my
it is.
opinion, Tor is compromised. Yeah, a virtual machine on a and also heart, air gap is always one of the best things, right? So if you have a virtual machine and then you have a separate computer to do all your personal shit on. So you're still on a computer that's completely clean, but you still run a virtual machine. And then you have a separate computer to do all your personal shit on. That's great. If you have a separate internet too, that's even better.
Damn, dude. You're giving me all kinds of new fantasies.
Yeah, I mean it's just depending on how crazy you want to get with it.
Golly. Technology and its... What is it? Technology and its effect on society?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, man. I really appreciate you stopping by. If there's anything you ever need from me, I know that's kind of like an out there thing, but don't hesitate to ask, man. I appreciate everything that you do, man.
Wax my female balls.
Well, you're gonna have to take me to a human rights tribunal. Otherwise, I refuse.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
I'm a proud Muslim woman, Bibble. I don't do shit like that.
Take it easy, bud.
You too, man. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fucking amazing. Thank you. Thank you to Bibble, obviously, and thank you to whatever supernatural circumstance made that happen, man. That was the shit. I apologize for the low quality stream and not really paying attention to chat too much. If you would like, feel free to follow me on Twitter at FlowEuphoria. I'm trying to get these episodes up on BitChute. That is proving to be quite the challenge. If you are into this kind of thing, I would implore you to not give me any money. Go and give money to Bibble. He definitely deserves it more. I have zero clout. But do your research, guys. Don't let people tell you what to think. Don't let people tell you what to believe. Don't believe a source just because it's on the internet. You got to double and triple fact check shit. Don't just use Google and think that's going to give you all the answers. It's a tough situation that we're in, but we're going to make it through, everybody. This fucking... Let me see. I'm going to check the chats. I don't believe DLive has had anything. Internet sluggish, baby. We got 3 people on YouTube. Thank you for that. Anything. Critical thinking. I know you. You were in that pay stream last night. Hell yeah, bro. Thanks for tuning in. Fran Power and RPG or 90. If you're still here, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Take it easy, everybody. I'm going to play a song on the way out. Yep, I usually will stream to exclusively DLive but I will also stream to YouTube if I can get the restream to work. The last episode 2, I tried to do the restream and it all got all kinds of messed up. So let's see what we can find here. Have you guys ever wondered why Muslim women dress like ninjas? Because I sure as fuck have.
Why do Muslim women dress like ninjas? How come the only thing that you can ever see is their eyes? Why don't they show a little thigh? Yeah, why do Muslim women dress like ninjas? Why do they go around dressed from head to toe in disguise? Maybe Muslim men are jealous guys. Well, I was at the grocery store getting some stuff, a couple apples and oranges, when then I felt a woman's touch. It felt so good it made me blush. But when I turned around, well, nobody was there. Just a big old box of produce with some apples and pears. No pretty woman. I guess I was out of luck. But then all of a sudden I felt a hand on my wrist, and then a pretty little woman, she leaned in for a kiss. A Muslim woman, dressed from head to toe in black. And as I looked in her eyes, I went to ask for her name, but then this pretty little woman disappeared in the rain. This Muslim woman, she disappeared and never did come back. Why do Muslim women dress like ninjas? How come the only thing that you can ever see is their eyes? Why don't they show a little thigh? And why do Muslim women dress like ninjas? Why do they go around dressed from head to toe in disguise? Maybe Muslim men are jealous guys. Well, a couple days later, I was at the bank, when who did I see? Well, who do you think? That Muslim woman. Or at least I think I did. So I went over to reintroduce myself. I went to shake this woman's hand, this pretty brown-eyed Muslim woman. But then she disappeared again. And now the bank teller's yelling for security, and there's a big old bag of cash laying next to me. This Muslim woman, I think that she just set me up. And now the police got me down on my knees, and I'm just looking out the window at this woman empty out an armored truck and make away with $500,000. And now I know why Muslim women dress like ninjas. I know why the only thing that you can ever see is their eyes, and why they never show some thigh. And now I know why Muslim women dress like ninjas. I know why they go around dressed from head to toe in disguise. It's not because the men are jealous guys. It's so they can do all of these heists.
Well, now you know. That's why Muslim women dress like ninjas. Take it easy, everybody. Have a good night. Go tune into the Kill stream. They're talking about some weird movie that shall not